Robinhood. So this is a company that obviously we have talked about quite a bit. And you are absolutely right that in the short term, the market has decided is completely attached to Bitcoin or
Wait, I think my
whatever
headphones
crypto.
disconnected. Did you just say I'm right?
No, I never said that. But 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 I think you and the market are wrong in that there shouldn't be any association.
I don't think there should be. I never said
Yeah.
there should be. I don't think
Okay.
there should be. I'm just saying this is how the market has worked. I'm
Yes.
pointing out this is how the market has worked, and
Yeah.
I don't know when that's going to change. And that could
Well,
change as early as next week with earnings, by the
okay,
way.
let
I
me
don't I
let me
don't
show you let me show you one thing that is kind of interesting. So here, actually, let me do it on um, Earnings Hub. So where is Hood? So let me pull this up real quick and compare Robinhood to Bitcoin. And when we do short term, let's say like the past week or let's say the past month, you can kind of see this very like direct correlation. But if we do the past year, look, there's Robinhood in green and there's Bitcoin in blue. So the correlation is much more disconnected on a longer term basis. And what happens in the longer term? Well, it's these earnings that happen, right? It's this. And these earnings are what sets it apart. Bitcoin doesn't have earnings reports. It doesn't produce anything. Robinhood is going to have their earnings next Wednesday. And, I all indications are that it is probably going to have a fantastic earnings. And, my view is that Robinhood's revenue from crypto is only roughly 20% today. Even if they were to lose 40% of their crypto revenue, which is roughly about $100 million on a quarterly basis, $100 million off of $1.3 billion of revenue is not that much. Granted, it's like 7-8%, but 8% for a company that is growing so rapidly is not that much to make up for. So that $100 million could easily be made up for by one of their 10 other revenue streams, one of which is growing ridiculously fast, is this prediction markets, where their Q3 revenue was around 25, maybe to 30 million. I don't remember the exact number. But in October, just 1 month, they had already beat all of Q3's uh, the number of the dollar amount of contracts that had traded in the prediction markets in October, and then they beat that again in November. So they haven't said what their December numbers are. So there's a good chance just Q4's uh, uh, revenue from the prediction markets might exceed $100 million, and that would completely make up for the crypto downfall, right? And that's assuming that crypto revenue goes down significantly. Just because crypto price goes down doesn't mean the revenues goes down. It is correlated between from transactions. So there's a chance that they still, the crypto revenue doesn't even go down that much. Maybe it goes down 10 or 20% because of the lower prices, but um, who knows? All remain to be seen. Here's how I look at Robinhood, though. I look at it as it's a great company. It's executing fantastically. And at $150, I was shaving and trimming, and um, I thought it had gotten a little bit ahead of its skis. But at $80 a share, almost half off, it now has a PE of around 40. When you extrapolate its growth rate, next year it's going to have a PE in the low or high 20s, maybe. 2 years out, it could have a PE in the teens if it grows at these rates. So um, I think it's a great company at a good price. It's not a great price, but it's a great company, and that's the sort of like the Warren Buffett style of investing, is to buy great companies at a good price and just wait it out, right? So if it goes down to $40, what was your prediction? 40 or $50?
54, which I'm about to
$54.
break down. Yeah,
$54. I'll just buy some more,
right.
which is why part of the reason I need to reserve some cash. But I think you'll be wrong and it won't hit that low, but we'll see.
I
All right,
think I'm
break it
gonna
down
be
for
right,
us.
and I think it's gonna easily get to 50. So
Easily.
$54
Okay.
easily, yeah. $54 is not a price target by any means. This is
Okay.
just where I think it's going to easily get to, and it can go lower. Who knows? Maybe it won't.
Not
That's
investment advice.
not investment advice. No, this is just like for fun,
No,
like thought
just doing that
experiment. Uh,
to mess with you.
no, it's not
Yeah.
investment advice. Thank you for reminding me.
No, I
Uh,
got
and yeah, so let me
break
break
it
it
down,
down.
break it down. Okay.
So basically, I'm looking at the historical price history to kind of figure out where Robinhood should be, assuming it remains correlated to Bitcoin and assuming crypto continues to be in this bear market, which are my two like base case assumptions.
Right.
Either of those can break, like we just mentioned, like this could decouple from earnings next week. We'll see. So I've been watching you buy Robinhood. I think you made maybe like 2 or 3 purchases over the
3,
last
yeah.
week, and every time I'm like,
It's going
it's
down
gonna continue
further.
to go down." And I
Lots of
don't
people have
blame
been telling me that on X, by the
yeah,
way.
and I don't
Yeah.
blame you for buying. I think your strategy is actually great, um, like in general. And typically, I think that a big difference between our strategies is you'll buy at worse prices, but you'll buy more of the stock. And I'll buy at cheaper prices, but I'll buy less of the stock. And
Mm.
honestly, if I had to choose between either of those strategies, I would go with yours, even though I do mine. Um, but whatever. That's besides the point. So I'm watching you buy Robinhood. I'm like, it feels too early, but I don't actually know what would be like even a reasonable price. And again, this isn't a price target, but would like just like where should Robinhood be going if it follows what it's done historically? So the first thing I did was I again because I think it's correlated with Bitcoin, I looked at where is uh what is the average price of Bitcoin over the last 200 weeks, which is historically a place where Bitcoin tends to go during these bear markets. Right now, that price is $58,000. Bitcoin is currently at like $73,000. So I'm just going to round up a little bit and say, let's say Bitcoin's going to 60,000. So then the question is, well, uh, what is one share of Robinhood worth in terms of
In Bitcoin.
Bitcoin? Right? So, like, instead of a dollar denominated value, it's a Bitcoin denominated value, which really only
Right.
makes sense to do when something is connected to Bitcoin. It doesn't make sense to like compare the price of Chevron stock to Bitcoin.
Right, right.
So, the answer to that is uh, so typically, or most of its history,
Historical.
yeah, one Robinhood share was worth point zero 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 two to point zero 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 six Bitcoin. At the high, because you just showed Robinhood outpaced Bitcoin fairly dramatically. So at the high, it was point zero zero one five. If we look at the 50-week average price in Bitcoin, it's point zero 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 nine. So somewhere in the middle of like where it
Okay.
was and where it has been. So then if you multiply where Bitcoin is, where I believe Bitcoin is going, the 60,000 by the average price of Robinhood in terms of
To
Bitcoin,
Bitcoin.
you get this $54 number. So
But
all of
shouldn't you
that
get a
being,
range? Uh, you know,
uh, what
because
do you
that
mean?
range is pretty big.
Oh,
Point zero
like, oh
zero
yeah, yeah, yeah.
two two.
There's technically a range, but I'm simplifying. So
Okay.
just $54 is
But that's a pretty big range because like the bottom of the range to the top of the range is what, like 4 times as much? Point zero
uh
zero two, or was it zero zero
Well,
zero two?
oh, you're
Point zero
so
zero zero
that's I don't
8?
think it's going down there. So that's just like the range of it's
It has
where
traded.
most of the price action is, but the actual average 50-week price is point zero nine. But the range of like point zero 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 nine nine versus point zero 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 nine is actually a very big range because the price of Bitcoin is large.
Right.
So that's what I thought you were
Gotcha.
talking about. But yeah, I'm not necessarily saying it's going back down to like those lows. It's just to add context of like, I don't think it's crazy to say one share of
It might
Robinhood's going
hit
to be worth.
54. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay,
Yeah.
do you believe that it's gonna hit 54 or, like,
Yes.
it's very likely? You do?
Yes.
Okay.
I
S
do.
should we put a friendly wager on this?
Yes. Yes, you should.
Alright. Alright, what should the wager be?
I don't know. We might need to figure that out offline.
I want your Rivian, model car.
Y Yeah, you get me a Rivian car, and I'll give you my Rivian model car. That sounds fair.
That's funny. Oh,
Um, but yeah, I think it's very realistic. Again, I don't think this should happen. It's just if Robinhood continues on this path, this is where it's
huh,
going. And by the way,
how
one
mu
last point.
yeah,
Uh, I all of this is I'm looking at all this, not even considering the actual Robinhood price chart. I'm looking at the Bitcoin price chart and then
gotcha,
Robinhood
gotcha.
relative to Bitcoin. So it's not looking at
Okay, well,
Robinhood price.
when would the wager be for? Like, 10 days from now, a month from now?
So I mean, I, technically, because I'm thinking about this in terms of a Bitcoin bear market. I think, and you might say this is too long of a time frame. Really, like till the end of the year,
Oh my
early,
god.
early,
Anything could
early
happen between now and then.
yeah,
Okay,
earliest
so we're not talking
October.
about over the next month or something.
No, I'm not calling. I'm not saying it's an immediate drawdown. If I think, if
Okay,
anything, I think there's a realistic chance that there's a counter trend rally um,
okay,
in crypto and for everything else. Um,
okay.
so
I'll tell you what, I'll give you until the end of the year. If at any point Robinhood goes to 54 or lower,
or
you
lower, yeah.
win, in the remainder of the year. And, if it doesn't, if it remains above 54, I win. Is 54 the right number, or do you feel comfortable with that, or do you want me to
Yeah.
I'm willing to raise it to, like, even 58.
No, I mean the highest I would go is 54.99, but that's the
Well,
absolute.
you know
That's
what?
that.
I'll give you 60. I'll tell you what, because,
Oh,
I
that's way
feel
too
extra
generous.
confident.
That's way too generous. But
But here's what we do. We'll make the wager 1 share of, Robinhood.
great.
So, are you sure? Because if I win and the shares, could be 150 bucks, you would owe me whatever.
That's I understand the risks.
Okay, but I'll give you all the way to the end of the year.
Great.
If it at any point goes below 60, I owe you a share, and
And if
so
it doesn't
win
hit that by the end of the
immediately.
year, then I owe you a share.
Yeah, is
Great.
that fair? All right,
Yes.
let's do it. You're on.
Deal.
Okay.